When we won in 2007, we cried. We cried.
The work that Legal Service did was protect us.
They was my angels.
She is the best thing that ever happened to me, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have my kids back.
Legal Services was a godsend for me.
The difference between just getting by in a poverty situation, but just getting by, and sleeping in the railroad station is a very fine line. And a bad legal situation, a situation where they had rights, but they really weren't protected or prosecuted, and being homeless and on the street is a very, very fine line.
One of the cases I just took on was this lady who came in on oxygen. And she's like, I can't stay too long because the oxygen's about to run out. And I'm facing eviction for non-payment of rent, but I don't owe the rent because my granddaughter left and I had a change in household income and the landlord has failed to adjust the rent. And it seems like nobody's listening to me. The landlord's attorney's not listening to me, the judge is not listening to me, and everything that she said was correct. And they had all the information in the file, but they hadn't done the adjustment. And I just got an email from the attorney the other day saying, we've done the adjustment, she owes no rent. So I think back and I say, you know, if not for Legal Services, this senior citizen on oxygen would probably have been out on the street when she owed no rent.
The city of Camden had been put under a state takeover around 2003, 2004, I think it was. And part of the agenda of the new administration that came in was to put the entire city of Camden in a redevelopment zone. That would mean that the city administration would have the powers of eminent domain over every single property in the city of Camden.
They started with a corner. They went to one house, they said, we want to buy your house because the development is coming through. Okay, I want $70,000 for it. So all right, signed over $70,000. Next house, they were smarter. They said, we need your house, and we're only gonna give you, say, $50,000. If you don't like it, you go to court and you fight it out. Okay, well, give me $50,000. Next one, they said, we're giving you $35,000, that's it.
We had an overwhelming amount of homeowners that were here and that have been here for decades that said, no, I want to live here and I want to stay here. So we decided that we needed some help and we needed to talk to somebody and to see what kind of help we can receive that, that can guide us.
Legal Services told us how to get ourselves organized where they will listen to us because they would only give us 2 to 3 minutes to speak. How do you do that? So we trained. In the end, after 10 people spoke, Olga spoke. Legal Services spoke up for us. Beautiful, and then it just kept coming.
The work that Legal Service did was protect us. You don't have to move out the residents to have a better city, block, or neighborhood. All you have to do is fix the problems, address those problems, and you can have better residents right here.
When I received the case file, I'll never forget, the description was, do you think you can help this mom? She's incarcerated. There are 2 young girls in a home who wants to adopt them, and there's no chance that she's coming out within the next year.
My husband had the kids taken away from him while I was incarcerated. Their father was an alcoholic, and if the bills weren't paid, he would blow up in the house and I'd be the brunt of the aggravation. I would write out checks to cover the bills even though there wasn't enough money in the bank, which was, hindsight's 20/20. It was stupid, but that's what happened.
The case progressed quite quickly. I just thought, There's no way these girls are going home, was my first reaction. When I met Hope, I knew this could happen.
I did what I knew I had to do in Edna Mann Correctional Facility. I did all the classes I could have taken. I tried to better myself in any way I could.
The other issue was actually housing. The resource parent had this beautiful home on a lake and got them a dog, like had this, and really was committed to these girls, wanted to adopt these girls, and were always against this timeline of trying to get them back and say, look, she's getting the secure housing, and to say that they're happy to live in a one-bedroom, and you were sleeping on the couch, and they had a bed, and they were so happy to be in this small little apartment with you, yep. And didn't think twice about the dog or the lake house.
Nope.
Immediately after Hurricane Sandy, we received funding from the Robin Hood Foundation, and shortly after that, we received other grants from the state of New Jersey and from the Hurricane Sandy New Jersey Relief Fund, which was a foundation fund that Mary Pat Christie started. Since the last days of October, early days of November 2012, we've been providing free legal services to New Jerseyans affected by the storm.
I moved here on March 2009. A friend of mine at the job explained to me that her aunt was selling mobile home. I called her, came to see the place, and I like it.
I was a flight attendant for 42 years. I retired 2 years ago. I lived in Manhattan for all that time. I moved here September 8th, 2008.
It was a normal day, I'd say. It was here in the news, there was storms coming. We wasn't aware that it was that bad. And then we got notice from the office that we have to evacuate.
Then I begrudgingly headed off to Manhattan to stay with my daughter. And then Sandy hit with full force. The water just rushed over the tops of all these little tiny houses. Two of my neighbors stayed here on the road, and their houses were low on the ground. In the middle of the night, they swam across the street and stayed in my house.
Everything was flat. The water was hit through the inside the house, like 2 feet, I would say. Everything was destroyed. It was a program they call Recovery New Jersey, right? New Jersey Stronger. And I applied for that also.
They gave me the REM. About 2 or 3 weeks later, I get a letter saying, "Oh dear, we gave you this money by mistake. If the check happens to be lying around your house, could you send it back to us? And if not, can you write us a check for $10,000? And they gave the reason that this was not my residence at the time of the storm, which was not true.
They said in the letter they sent me that at that point the storm happened. I was in I didn't have the title. We went to documents back and forth, proof of the letters from that I own the place. That transition took a year to get the final answer.
And I remember the day that we were going to court. Bless her heart. Bridget is like this big, and she's dragging this huge pile of papers with her, and I've got 10 tons of the same papers in my car. She put up with me saying, "But why do they need the same thing again? Won't they ever believe me?" So, and she's going, "Yes, we'll take care of you, don't worry. We'll hold your hand, everything will be good." And it was.
In so many different ways, legal services has made people's lives better by helping them through the legal system. That's a mission that we can all be proud of.